Welcome to the Pop-Off with Gene FitzMagic and friends. Your daily sports and entertainment radio show, live all over the world. You're going to want to hear what these guys have to say. With their hot takes, recaps, previews, and predictions, sometimes these guys might get along, but most times, they won't. So see what happens when these guys pop off about the world of sports and entertainment.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Pop-Off. I am G FitzMagic, joined by James, Wudi, Nigel Downer, Abby Washington. How are you guys doing?
Ooh, feeling nice. It's Tuesday.
And a lot of stuff to talk about, guys. We're gonna talk a little bit about some new Jets unis, some Saquon Barkley, Marcus Peters finally signed, some stuff with Aaron Rodgers and the Jets and the best defensive backfields in all of football. We're also going to discuss some of the upcoming seasons for 3 new NFL teams. We're going to talk about the Colts, the Rams, and the Broncos. So where do you guys want to start? Should we first talk about if you guys haven't heard the news yet? LeBron James' son, Bronny James, actually had the cardiac arrest at practice or during training yesterday. I don't know if it was practice or it was training. This is scary. He's an 18-year-old kid. Mm-hmm. Does anybody know anything as far as I know this just happened, so we haven't really looked too much into it. Does anybody know anything as far as is there an issue? Like what was the case with this? Does anybody know?
I heard that he was in ICU, but is no longer in ICU. Mm-hmm. I know, and of course, it's LeBron James's family, so they're asking for as much privacy, and I think they've been granted a great deal of it at this point. But I know it was looking bad, as cardiac arrest definitely does, but it's looking much better, and they're trying to determine if it will have an impact, on this season or him. Because I personally have seen in my high school that's actually happened twice. In my senior year, it happened with 2 different sports, but one person had to live with a pacemaker rest of their life, and kind of derailed their sports career, and then the other person was perfectly fine. It was like a incident. So I've seen both sides of the spectrum. They're trying to figure out what side Bronny's on.
Hey, Caleb, welcome to the show. We were just discussing a little bit about what happened with Bronny James yesterday. Sad story. Do we think he's going to still be able to carry on basketball? Well, let me ask you a question. If this was your son, would you let him carry on playing basketball?
I think he's over 18, so they actually couldn't stop him.
No, I know, but what would you advise if this was
I would say no. Unless, but he really, if he really wants to play to try to make his legacy, there's that. I just don't think it's worth it to that level. Once your body starts showing you signs, it's okay. Like, you just may not be able to do that. You know what I mean? I'm old enough to remember when Hank Gathers died. I saw the game, right? And he was in perfect health until he wasn't, right? And you just never know. So I would not want him to. It's not for anything financial, you know what I mean? So you don't have to worry about that. So that takes a lot of stress off your life. And I can understand wanting to love the game and wanting to play. And so if that's what he chooses, I don't think you can, but I wouldn't advise it. Like, I would say I'm against it. You know what I mean? Just because you just never know. You just never know. And when you see something like that, I think sometimes the universe gives you signs of things. You know what I mean? Like, you may know a friend that always drives drunk and never gets caught and never gets in an accident, but the first time you tried it, you get a DUI. Guess what? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That means everything that works for Dolomite don't work for everybody else. So you got to figure that out. You know what I mean? And I just think for him, maybe he should really consider it, because medicine doesn't know everything. The fact that he's this old and they're just barely diagnosing him with some issue with his heart. You never know what the next time that could be. I said the same thing about DeMar Hamlin. Like, look, I get it. No. You know what I mean? Like, I would not be playing football ever again. But, that's them. But I would, I prayers out to him and his family. I'm sure he has the best doctors in the world, and we shall see. But I wouldn't recommend it. And unless it was something he really, really, really wants to do, he'll have to make that decision.
What about you guys? Do you guys think he should just? I mean, I guess we need to see what the doctors say first, really, more than anything, right? But it's one of the things he doesn't need to play. Like he'll be set for life as is, unless there's that desire to want to play. I get that. That's something that's hard to take away.
I think that's it, man. For me, it's like, what is the diagnosis? Like, what are we dealing with here? Like, obviously, we don't know. So, when that information is privy to us, I mean, we're all going to have our comments and our, but I think overall, like Caleeb said, and obviously Wudi and the rest of us, Abby, we're all probably going to think the same thing. It's like, listen, young man, you have your whole life ahead of you and you're not, we have this thing with mortality. You think you're immortal until you don't, you know what I mean? Until you have that brush with it. And unfortunately, because it is with, I'm going to assume, presumably his favorite sport on this planet, his favorite thing to do, it sucks because now you have that conflict of interest, if you will. You know what I mean? You want to do this thing, but potentially if you do, you could die. So yeah. It's a hard thing to live with. And again, we don't know the situation thus far, but again, man, we've seen it. And if you haven't seen the 30 for 30 doc, it's called Guru of Go. That's the one that Caleeb was talking about that has Hank Gathers in it. And it's unbelievable to watch and to digest and to think that could potentially happen to anybody at any given moment. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, again, prayers up and hopefully young man is going to do all right. And then the decision is just in waiting.
Abby?
I just think there's too little information right now to really say anything. Like everyone's saying, we kind of need to see the diagnosis. And then from there, maybe it's worth it for him to have a conversation with, Damar Hamlin, obviously kind of experiencing something similar. But just as I said with Damar Hamlin, kind of making sure his mental health is ready. I was always saying he should meet with like a therapist and things like that to kind of talk about. It's a very traumatic experience. You know what I mean? And so just making sure not only you're physically okay, but are you mentally okay as well? That's a whole other aspect, kind of with, the whole person and everything like that. So, but yeah, obviously prayers, it's really unfortunate because like I said, he's so young, 18 years old, but yeah, he doesn't need to do this. But again, it's probably the only thing that he really knows and really had probably set for himself. You know what I mean? And the pressure is there, you know what I mean? Not only from just the family name itself, but from the media and literally everybody. So hopefully more news kind of comes out, but yeah, rest up. And I'm sure he's got the best care.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. So our prayers go out to the whole family, the Bronny James family and Bronny James himself. So let's switch gears over to Saquon Barkley signing his deal, 1 year, $11 million, I believe is what it is. Nigel, are you surprised that this happened even?
Yeah, it just out of nowhere, bam, here it is. He's avoiding the holdout, and he's in this. I don't know, man. Like 1 year, like I understand this the avoidance thing, but it's like I want him to go somewhere permanently, just to hang out for like a 3 year min. You know what I mean? Like that's what I wanted to see. I don't know what kind of static may come with this, or what kind of baggage may come with this, just because. We don't know if he really wanted to stay there or play there or not. Like I don't know that info. He's going to obviously be the best back that he can. But yeah, I was a little shocked that it was just, kind of like we'll just tease you a little bit. We'll just give you this 1 year, 11 mil, and walk away from it. But I don't know, man. I again, long story short, I would have liked to see him play with somebody or sign with somebody for a little bit more of a long haul.
I would have liked to see him get a chance to get rid of the in a new deal, get rid of that franchise tag. Somehow word it into the contract. Can't be franchised next year. He didn't do that. He can still be franchised next year. Did he get a fair shake with this deal, Wudi?
Not at all. Not at all. But the franchise get what they need to do, because the franchise, as a matter of fact, I know we have other topics to talk about. The franchise knew that they are lost without Saquon. They literally cannot proceed with Matt Breida as RB1. So this is really a very franchise oriented deal. Saquon gets paid for now, and it sucks. Like, it sucks that the market is this bad. That's like, all right, you know what? I'm going to take 11 because I truly don't know if there is another season moving forward that I can make $11 million in a year, right? With the $2 million signing bonus. So I feel like that's the mindset, and that's what Saquon did. I literally tweeted like an hour ago because Jaylen Brown, who I would not consider to be, elite. He's a very good NBA player. Jaylen Brown now has the highest NBA contract in NBA history with $304 million. And Saquon, who is inarguably elite, one of the absolute best in the league, is just scratching, clawing, fighting to just get a measly 11 mil for a year. And Gene, to your point with the franchise tag, this is just about to happen next year, right? They just put a Band-Aid on it, but didn't even stop the bleeding. They put a Band-Aid when it should have been a gauze pad or something like that. Should have been a little bit more serious. But the Giants get a chance to compete at a high level for one more year.
Caleeb, should he have held out or should he have signed?
Well, he had to figure out a deal. And I agree with Wudi with this. It's like the Giants got over because they did the same deal. They just gave him $2 million extra and we're not going to call it franchise. That's the exact same money he was getting. The franchise was $10.1 million, right? Like, that's what guaranteed. That's what it was. All they did was add basically $3 million to the deal. 900 extra thousand, so the deal becomes 11 million, but that's with, certain, stipulations he has to meet. And then, incentives. And then you get a $2 million signing bonus. I mean, it's the same thing. Like, it's really, and then next year they get to franchise them officially if they would like. So to me, Saquon did a little too much talking, right? Without, like, you can't be, calling police on people and saying stuff, and then when it come down to it, you don't want to press no charges, or all of a sudden you forget. You know what I mean? It's like weird. It's like, why would you do all that? Like, you should have just shut up and sucked it up, took whatever was happening and endure it. Like, for an extra $3 million. And I know $3 million is a lot of money, but not after taxes. He already loses half, so it's 1.5. Then you got everybody that works for you. So he might have gotten an extra $500,000 at the end of the day. You know what I mean? $800,000 between then. So it's like, for all of that, you make this stance. Then you do, you know what I mean? Like, to me, it's weird. You can't be screaming equality and then take the first deal that comes. And it ain't even better than the last. Like, really no big difference. You know what I'm saying? So to me, I think Saquon made himself look a little crazy when he didn't have to.
Yeah. Abby, how many wins does this mean extra for the Giants? Like, if they didn't have him as opposed to now having him?
You know what? We're going to get into that topic later because we're going to talk about a playoff team last year that will miss the playoffs this year, and that's the first team that I wrote down on my little list.
Ooh,
so I don't even want to get into that with the Giants, but I'm co-signing everything Wudi and Caleeb said. It's a weird deal. And you're just gonna run into the same problem next year. You got a whole lot of nothing. So, but like Caleeb said, probably half a year, maybe some. Obviously, you got taxes, you got people you got to pay, and everything. But I don't think in any way, shape, or form this is going to satisfy what he wants. So next year, I mean, if they don't, obviously, like I said, they can still franchise tag him. But kind of even what Nigel said, I wanted to see him. I would like to see him a giant, a long-term giant. Like we talked about it last week. He is the Giants. When I think of the Giants, I think of Saquon Barkley. You would think they would be trying to make that happen. Who is your offense besides him? Nobody.
I think Rosie Greer and Sam Huff.
Yeah, and I'm like, you'll pay Danny Jones ridiculous money, but won't pay Saquon. It doesn't make sense to me. Whatever. I don't know why I even care. I don't even want to speak about it because there's only one in New York team that I even give a shit about.
There you go. Speaking of, what? I wasn't going to touch it, but maybe we should, because I got to see what your opinion is of this. I wish we had the clip because I didn't set up the clip, but the man up above to the left, he said that the Jets defense is overrated. Amongst some other disparaging things.
Patty, pull up the clip.
I don't think we have
that.
we don't have the clip set, but he did say it. It was that they are overrated and that they're not as good as we all think they are. What's your take on your fellow co-hosts having such disparaging comments?
Dripped out.
Gene, 15 minutes in, throwing this guy under the bus.
I just needed to put it out there.
Let me just get my coffee and mute my microphone.
My eyes literally go so far in the back of my head right now. Like, Wudi, stop it. You know I say that key phrase, stop. Who's better?
Who's better than the Jets defense?
You make it sound like there's a lot, though. You said that maybe three.
The Eagles? The Eagles have a better defense.
Okay.
The Niners have a better defense.
Okay.
The Cowboys could have a better defense.
Could.
Yeah. I would say
everyone says it has the Jets in the top 5. Top 5 is not being overrated.
But G was trying to say that they were the most likely to improve when they were already the 4th defense.
They've already added so many good pieces to make that defense even better this year coming up.
They added so many good pieces this year.
I think they added some good D line depth. I like the 2 guys they got from Seattle. I like those 2 guys. Adrian Amos, I like him a lot too. Another year with Sauce Gardner. Another year with Jermaine Johnson, who they say in camp so far, the first week looks like a beast.
I love Jermaine.
So and we'll see what the rookie can do. I think they've on paper are better than they were on paper last year. It's debatable. You got to think
it is debatable. It is debatable. I didn't say that they were trash, but I did say they are not as high as what we think because they played against Brett Rypien, Trevor Siemian, Mitch Trubisky, and they were perfectly healthy. I don't think that the Jets defense is going to be they already got hurt, right? Cameron Clark. We thought we were good. We weren't going to get Amos, and Cameron Clark already.
Wait a second, because now he's going to backtrack. I thought first of all, our defense is what saved us. Because it was our quarter again. You blamed our quarterback play. You never said anything about our defense last season.
I'm not saying that the defense was bad, but I'm saying that we were not playing the Patrick Mahomes, the Jalen Hurts. Like we're expecting to have the same success. We played worse competition last year than we're playing this year. It's not going to be the same. It's not going to be the same playing against Hurts and Mahomes and Dak. We were when we were playing Mitch and Trevor and Brett. Like that's gonna be a difference. And if we have to absorb injuries in that same process, it's not gonna be the exact same as the domination that we saw last year. We got a great defense, but I'm just saying, don't be surprised if we struggle, if we have people that throw 300 yards against us, because we didn't have that last year. I think that's possible, but that's gonna happen this year.
All right. Well. That'll be something we'll keep an eye on. Maybe there'll be another debate between these 2 later on as the season goes and as the Jets prove to be the top defense in the league. I'm sure Abby will agree with that. But let's get on to the next thing. Aaron Rodgers, how many years is he going to play?
Another Jets topic.
Let's
wait. How many?
Abby. How many years is he going to play, Abby?
What I want is 3. Realistically, I think 2. Like I don't think he's going to be a one and done. I mean, he already said it was going to be a disservice to the Jets because they paid so much for him to do a year. And you can't tell me that man doesn't want another Super Bowl. So he's going to at least give it 2 more chances. And I think being in the league so long, it is hard to all of a sudden go to a new team and turn it around in 1 year. You know what I mean? I think he has realistic expectations that he at least needs potentially 2 years to do it. This is a team. Remember, I get so mad that everyone's talking about Super Bowl or bust for the Jets. They have not been to the playoffs in 12 years. It's not Super Bowl or bust. It's get to the playoffs.
It's Super Bowl or bust when you think about what they gave up for him. It feels like Super Bowl or bust for what they gave up.
I mean, I guess you can argue that, but then again, why are you expecting a team who's missed the playoffs the last decade to all of a sudden go to the Super Bowl because of one player?
Because we heard all
I would like be saying like we had him and didn't have nobody else.
But that's what we heard last year. We heard last year all they did if they would have had a quarterback, they would have made the playoffs. They would have had a quarterback, they wouldn't have made the playoffs. Now they got a top where would you put Rodgers? Top 5, top 10 quarterback? Some of
5.
that top 5.
I'll put him at 5.
We had a bottom 5 quarterback, and they said if we had a little bit better of a quarterback, we would have made the playoffs. I feel like a top 5 quarterback should put you in the Super Bowl. Nigel, what's your say?
How long is his contract again?
He's technically under contract for 4 years.
Yeah.
But
4? Okay, cool. Then 3.
You think he does 3?
I love that answer.
Yeah, that's it. I'm not. There's no. It's like a hard out for me, man. Like it just. I feel like to Abby's point, like there's a lot. There's a lot of. I mean, we'll get into the pressure talk later, but I mean that's a lot to put on this one man. And we all know that he's. He thinks a little differently nowadays, and so who knows what's going to happen, and also what's the squad like surrounding him? A lot of questions. Listen, I just want to see week 1. I just want to see what happens week 1. Let's just get through preseason. Let's just get a vibe check by the time week 3, week 4 rolls around, and then let's have this discussion again and see what's up. But I think my hard out answer is 3. Peace.
Caleeb, if he wins the Super Bowl this year, let's say hypothetically the Jets go on to win the Super Bowl this year. Does he leave after that Super Bowl?
He might. Because that debt would be paid in full times 10 in his mind. If they win the Super Bowl, right, this season, he would be like, I don't owe y'all nothing. Matter of fact, y'all owe me. You know what I mean? And the Jets organization and the fans would say absolutely. Like, he doesn't pay for anything ever in life in New York from that point on. It doesn't matter. So that's what happens if he wins. Okay. I agree with Nigel. He stays 3. 2 will be good competitive seasons. The 3rd season would just be, you got to pay me. I came. We tried. If they didn't win something, right? But even if they make the AFC Championship, there's people that are going to be happy. So it's like that. Okay. The reason why there's pressure is because Aaron Rodgers has always been compared to a guy named Tom Brady, who won all the time, but people would admit was out of all of Brady's seasons, how many times was he the best quarterback in the NFL, right? Like there was years people didn't even consider Brady the top quarterback, even though the Patriots figured out a way to win the Super Bowl. There was usually a guy named Peyton Manning that was always ahead of him, no matter what, right? So what I'm saying is Aaron Rodgers gets compared to that guy, Tom Brady, who's now considered the GOAT, because everybody presumably says Aaron Rodgers is a way better quarterback than Tom Brady. Like if you were to put him in competition for each skill, Aaron would win all of them pretty much, or at least 90% of them. But Tom always won. Aaron only has won once. So Aaron gets the pressure because that same guy left the team he was with and won all his Super Bowls with, and they kind of ran him out of town. Then he went to a team who hadn't won nothing since Chucky was their coach. And the first season he gets there, they win. It's like as if God wears a Brady t-shirt. Like, it's insane, right? So Aaron Rodgers, inadvertently of himself, nothing to do, gets that placed on him, where the world says that's possible because I've seen it. And people now look at the Jets and they say that's a way better team than that Tampa Bay team. That's what they're going to say from top to bottom on both sides. Now, Gene, what did you say? Everybody said if we had a halfway decent quarterback, we would be in the playoffs. We got Aaron Rodgers. Arguably, not arguably one of the greatest, absolutely one of the greatest to ever play the position. So, of course, it's Super Bowl or bust. Considering everything we've got, I mean, the Jets have paid. Look at you, got me saying all the things that the Jets gave up for him. All the accolades of a man who has nothing to do with this situation named Tom Brady, who Aaron Rodgers has inadvertently been compared to, who left the team and won a Super Bowl in the very first season. Of course, Aaron. Duh, right? It's the like it's gonna be worse if they make the playoffs and get beat. Right? If they make it get beat, it's like
so close.
Right? Like it's gonna be bad. So in my opinion, it's like if he gets there and loses, they'll be mad, but at least they got there. Like, I feel like he has, like, not has to, but like for the, like, all the story points and all the biggest raw, and for his greatness, if he was to win it this season, Aaron Rodgers could then say, well, if it was all coaching, if I would have had Bill Belichick, who knows how many rings I would have won if he wins this year, right? Because he could be like, see what happens. Like, on so many levels, there's so many storylines that are happening with the Jets. That's why they're so interesting this season. So I say that long soliloquy to say, I think it's Super Bowl or bust simply because there's so many other things happening besides just the game for this team, for the history of it, legacy, everything.
James, Wudi, what do you say?
I just want to say that the reason why I'm wearing this attire right now is that no matter what is said, I'm a Jets fan. All right, just know that. Just know that. But I'll first touch on the Super Bowl or bust because we got, I'll weigh in on that. I definitely think it's Super Bowl or bust for the Rodgers era. I don't think it has to be this year. Like, if he wins next year, I don't think anybody is going to be mad.
No.
Caleeb brings up a lot of interesting points on why, in his mind, like in Rodgers' mind, it probably is like, this year, because Brady just did that. Even Matthew Stafford did that, and he's a much lesser quarterback.
Right? Wow.
But, we got some recent examples right now. So I'm sure.
And real quick, Wudi, you know what? The Rams were considered the same thing. All they need is a quarterback, and they could win.
Exactly.
So go ahead. Yeah.
So I feel like it's literally the same thing. So hopefully that happens. Now, how long is he going to stay? I think this answer is complicated because of a specific boy that this organization is just enamored with, despite having stats that are worse than Jamarcus Russell, being the only quarterback in the history of the NFL to be dead last in passer rating 2 consecutive years. Gene said he's bottom 5. I'm not sure if that means out of starting quarterbacks or of like all the quarterbacks in the league, like all 75.
I meant the starters.
Well, he's outside of the starters. If I made a top 35 quarterback list, Zach Wilson would not be on that list. He would not.
That's fair.
He would not. So
I think he was ranked 40.
Yeah, I mean, 40 is generous. 40 is generous.
Wait, Wudi. Whose number are you wearing? And if I think I know who you're wearing.
I feel like that's irrelevant to the point. So I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to keep going with what we're talking about here.
Hey, you know what? Caleeb and I we'll see ourselves out. Clearly we don't belong, and it's gonna get a little scrappy up in here. So
no, it's not. It's all fun. It's all love here. All right, Rodgers. I think he'll be here for 2 years, and I think after 2 years, that's when Zach's contract is up, and they're gonna have to do some sort of Jordan Love type Band-Aid on the contract in order to get him to still be a Jet. And it sounds crazy to say, oh, you would push out Aaron Rodgers for the sake of this child that has done absolutely nothing but be terrible. But for some reason, Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh, they love him. It was their first pick that they made together as a tandem. So I think that's really what it is. It's like that firstborn child that, is disappointed, but you just don't give up on them. So they live in your house forever. And I think that's what Zach is going to do. So I think the Zach factor, I think that's the reason why Derek Carr, went with New Orleans, even though they had such great talks. Like he just didn't want that, hanging over his head. And I think Rodgers, it's going to be tough to keep him that 3rd year with Zach's contract ballooning up to $20 million. So that's ultimately what I think will happen. 2 years, and the Super Bowl or bust window is at 2 years.
All right. Nigel. The hat. I forgot to ask you at the beginning of the show, my man. Put Nigel on the big screen so he can show us this hat.
Boom. I feel like I worn this one before, but maybe not. So, which is great. So this year, check this out. Nice little grizzly bear there wearing the nice Canadian Mountie style hat. All right. And this year it's got the black under, the black guts there. And it's also a strap back. And it's got the brand right there. Let's see a little thread I got to cut out, but the brand right there. That's an N for Noble Noble North. That is, it was for Nigel, actually. No, it's for Noble North, which is a company that's probably about an hour and a half to drive west of my place. I actually went to the store, very boutique-y shop. It's fantastic. Go check out their site. I'm not being paid for this. I'm just saying it's one dude. He's got a couple designers on his team, and he's doing such a great job out there in the small outfit. So I thought I'd represent Canada today, represent him wearing the Noble North, because Team Canada is in the FIFA Women's World Cup right now. We tied versus Nigeria, which feels like a loss last week because we had a chance to go over the top. We didn't. But we play Ireland tomorrow, so I thought I'd wear this is the men's version of the women's jersey. So I wanted to wear this fit today because they play tomorrow morning, because it's in New Zealand and it's in Australia, and the time zones mess you up. So unless you're up early or you're down to watch it super late, you ain't catching any of it. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm representing today.
There you go. Yeah. All right, so next topic. Who is one last question? We'll end over with the Rodgers.
Real quick.
Yeah, what up?
Real quick. I just saw on SportsCenter. Guess who one of the analysts thinks is going to have a killer season that nobody's talking about? And I swear to God, I'm not lying.
Oh,
Sam Darnold?
Sam Darnold as San Francisco's quarterback. I swear to God, when the analyst wants to give his
telling you
on why it's going to be Sam Darnold this season.
As a matter of fact, you know what? Sam Darnold, he in the building.
You started it.
I'm telling you, I called that weeks ago.
Yo, is this a multiverse conversation? What is happening right now?
Real dude who's coming on TV right now on SportsCenter to talk about why it's Sam Darnold that's going to surprise everybody as the quarterback for the night.
You guys are my witnesses. I said it first, and I said it like a month and a half ago, 2 months ago.
See, that's what I'm talking about. That's why I'm a student of the universe. You put it out there, and it caught, like it hit on that frequency. Somebody said, "Hey, Sam Darnold's gonna be the best." I think I'm gonna talk about it. You know what I mean? Gene, you doing it, man. Listen,
I'm telling
that's very funny to me. I'm sorry, I just had to bring that up. I'm telling you,
look out for Sam Darnold this year. I firmly believe it. Listen, am I necessarily rooting for him?
Is if he does ball out. Do you know how crazy that's gonna be, you guys?
You'll never be able to. I'll never live it down. Like, I'll constantly bring it up every show.
I can't with this prediction, man.
It's gonna be a topic every day.
We should, you know what, Gene? We should do it, Patty. We should do a Sam Darnold tracker. Like every week, we put his stats up. We like literally track his season to see what happens.
Yo, let's start following his socials, man. Let's find out what's up with my guy. Like, what is he? Is he out at the bar? What's going on?
Sam Darnold jersey, I think too. I got to represent Sam Darnold. I got to get the San Francisco Sam Darnold jersey, I think. So we'll see who's gonna work it out. All right. So who's under more pressure, Jordan Love or Aaron Rodgers? James, Wudi, you go first.
That Caleeb, every single time, I'm like, damn, I hope he picks me first. Every time. I love it, Gene. I love it. Because I feel like the belief is that it's Aaron Rodgers. But I gotta say, just imagine playing for a franchise that has known nothing but quarterback excellence for entire lifetimes. Right? There are so many people that are alive that watch football that literally all they know is that the Green Bay Packers have a top, not 10, not even 5, top 3, the best quarterback in the league is on the Green Bay Packers. That has been the case for decades. Like
30 years.
And not only that, they've already done this song and dance, and they pushed out one for this one. Oh, we believe in this kid. We believe in this kid. And that kid turned out to be Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers was literally better than Brett Favre. It was like, wow, great job, GM. Great job, ownership. We did this. And now they pushed out Aaron Rodgers again. So the fans, there are fans that sleep at night that say, oh, Jordan Love, he's going to be better than Aaron Rodgers now. Just like Favre, right? We're just running this story again. So the pressure is on. He's been in the league for years, all right? All they know is success. If Jordan Love even just has a normal rookie season, right? And we've seen rookie seasons all the time. We see them all the time, right? quarterbacks. Just Kenny Pickett was just a rookie. If he has a season like Kenny Pickett, it's a riot. It's a riot in Green Bay. All right, the whole state of Wisconsin is just gonna be up in flames. All right, he has to be better than average. He has to be better than very good. Like really, the only example we have of somebody sitting and then just taking the world ablaze is Patrick Mahomes, and he had Andy Reid. He had some assistants there. Now we got Jordan Love. Matt LaFleur is a good coach, and he's respected, right? So the belief there is like, oh, you can't blame Mike McCarthy. This is your time. This is your time. If you are anything under than a very good quarterback, it is a fail, especially if Aaron does work on New York. Because then there's going to be like, damn, why did we get rid of this guy for this little bum? So I think all the pressure is on Jordan Love to be very good this season out the gate.
Nigel, who's got more pressure?
Listen, we're 36 minutes into this pod, and 25 of those minutes, we've talked about Aaron Rodgers. The pressure is on Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, man. What are we even talking about? Green Bay knows what they have. They know what they have. They've seen it. Sure, man. Love me. Yeah, Wudi, your eyes pop right out of your head, and I'll say it again. They know what they have. He might get better, sure, but we all know that the standard is not going to be Aaron Rodgers going forward. He's not going to meet up to that standard. He may be good. He may be fine, but that era is over. The pressure is solely on Aaron Rodgers. The debacle that happened this summer, his weird choices, I'm going to disappear for a second, and that literally only lasted a second. That's what we end up finding out later. All these things that this guy has done and said, now he goes to the critically acclaimed, he goes to the Jets, the Green Machine, and it's like, this is a big deal, man. It's a big deal. Again, 25 minutes. Now I've spent 27 minutes on this dude. It is solely on Aaron Rodgers. Hard out, Aaron Rodgers.
Abs?
Let me backtrack for a second, because when we were talking about Super Bowl or bust, I do agree it's Super Bowl or bust, but like Wudi said, it doesn't have to be this year. In his tenure with the Jets, you have to win a Super Bowl sometime in there. I don't care if it's next year or the following year, or he can play his whole damn contract with us. In that time frame, we need a Super Bowl. That being said, pressure's on Aaron Rodgers. It's a pretty obvious answer. Like, the amount of money he is going to be paid from the New York Jets the next couple of years, when you invest that much money in a player, the pressure's on, dude. And why we wouldn't even be having the discussion of the Jets in the Super Bowl or bust if it wasn't for Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers knows all that pressure is on him. And now we got Aaron Rodgers. You have Hard Knocks. Everyone's following us. You know what I mean? Literally, ESPN can't stop talking about it. That's why we've spent 25 minutes talking about the man.
29 now. 29 minutes.
Yeah, 29 minutes. I can go on all day, though, Nigel.
Who do you agree with?
I'm 1,000% in. Of course, it's Aaron Rodgers. It's not even a comparison. Jordan Love gets to skate because, to be honest, just to answer to what Wudi was saying, because he made some good points, but I just have to disagree in the sense of this. I think Green Bay fans are like, there's no way that kid is going to be anywhere close to Brett and Aaron Rodgers. You know what I mean? They're like, it's impossible. They're still surprised that they even got Aaron Rodgers after Brett Favre. You know what I mean? I don't think they're insane where they don't understand those kinds of things. Phil Jackson, it would have been crazy if he would have got somebody else after Kobe, if he would have got LeBron. You don't get Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Kobe, and Shaq. And you know what I mean? In your career, it's you know what I mean? So I feel like it's kind of like that. I think Jordan Love has a little pressure. He doesn't want to stink up the joint, but I think people know it's Aaron Rodgers is such a great. It's really, nobody's going to expect that. The pressure that Matt Jones feels in New England is because of Belichick. So it's because you still got the coach, there's pressure because it's was it Brady or was it the Belichick way? That's the question. So that's why that quarterback is under pressure, but not I don't think Jordan Love is anywhere near, and I don't think fans will even expect that. They don't want to see him be out there and stink up and be horrific. That, no. But if he's not Aaron Rodgers, I don't think anybody's going to be upset. I think they know that they're building in Green Bay. You know what I mean? Pretty much. We just have to see what Zaire Alexander wants to do after this season because he's in his prime. Does he want to play on a team where if they're not going to win because the quarterback is still developing, you know what I mean? Yeah. While he can still command what he can get. But a long-winded answer to say, of course, it's Aaron Rodgers, not even a comparison.
Let me ask you guys a question, though. Everybody, if Rodgers and Jordan Love both play as horribly as Russell Wilson did last year, all right, so let's say they both play that bad, Rodgers still gets to go off into the sunset. He's still first ballot Hall of Famer. He has actually lost nothing. Yeah, he looks like a clown making all this, going to the darkness, right? But he's still a Hall of Famer. He's just like every other great quarterback before him. Peyton didn't look good his last year. Montana didn't look good his last year. All these guys didn't look good their last year. Jordan Love, like, his career is done. His career is done.
I don't think so because I think he's still young enough. I think there'll be some that will take a chance on him.
Yes, but are you what? Do you know what would happen to Aaron Rodgers if he has a season like Russell Wilson?
Yeah, it'll be in New York. It'll be bad.
Everything he created is done. Every person that had anything negative to say about that man's game, the way he played, because Aaron Rodgers has gotten choke artists a lot because he's been there and lost games that they should have won a few times. Let's not act like that hasn't been connected to him. It would be, oh my God. And then they be making fun of how he be doing, his mental health and be going to darkness retreats and plant medicine. He would, oh my God. Like, he cannot. That could not happen. I disagree wholeheartedly. You know what I'm saying? Because and what I'll say about Peyton Manning is this. Abby's point, he won. Peyton went to Denver, and he won. Tom Brady went to Tampa, and he won. See? Like, so Aaron is in that category. Both of those guys won. He has to. And please, a Russell Wilson season. Somebody might assassinate him. God forbid. Like, it's a tragedy. It would be bad. Like, people will lose their minds.
That New York media will kill him.
He could never go to New York. He could never go to New York.
No.
There would be restaurants that would say, that would have his jersey up and say, we don't sit those people here.
If that happens in New York, he's going to have to go into his little retreat again and take more ayahuasca.
Yeah, for sure.
He'll need more than all that. It's a wrap. And his legacy would be shot.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so Marcus Peters just signed with the Raiders. We were actually going to talk about where should he sign. He signed with the Raiders just yesterday. Abby, good fit?
Personality-wise, yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's not a bad pickup for the Raiders, but I really don't know how he's going to hang with all the kind of dynamic receivers and everything you got in the AFC West. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I don't know. That was one of the teams where we initially, when we were going to talk about where he should sign, the Raiders did come to mind, so I'm not too surprised. But I mean, he's at the back end kind of his career and everything like that. So I was reading on Twitter, the Twitter comments about it were so funny. They're like, his career is dead now. But I mean, good for him. And like I said, personality wise, perfect fit. He can hang right in there and fit right in.
Caleb, what's your take on that signing? Should he have signed or should he have went back home to Baltimore?
Well, honestly, I think it's the city where he's like, I can go out there and have fun. We ain't finna win nothing. So it ain't like we got to take it all that serious and I can have a good time. You know what I mean? Like you just I'm serious because to me, you know what's going on in Vegas. They're not winning anytime soon. I don't think so. I don't think they have the right culture to win. I just don't. The stuff that's going on with Jacobs and all, I'm telling you, you can't win when you have dysfunction like that, when players, key players aren't happy and all that kind of stuff. I just feel like, so, we shall see. He's going to get some money and be in a place where he can hang out and travel the world in a 2-mile radius. You know what I mean? All the hotels, the different countries and city teams. You know what I mean? It's funny, but it's true. In Vegas, you can travel the world in a 2-mile radius and be like, oh yeah, I went to Paris and this, So
I went to Italy.
I
went to Italy.
Exactly. It's very funny. Like when you really think about it, you're like, yo, look at that.
It's like Epcot in the Southwest.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we shall see. But like I said, they're not going to win anything. I don't think so. I'm really excited about the Los Angeles Chargers, you guys. I'm thinking there might be something different. Yeah.
We'll see. I think they need a new coach, but that's for a topic for a different day.
Oh my God!
I think that's the thing.
I think we all think that.
I think the same way the Jets needed a new quarterback, the Chargers need a new coach.
Man.
So, but back to Marcus Peters. Wudi, what's your take on the Marcus Peters signing? Is that a good spot for him? Would you have signed somewhere else if you were him?
I definitely would have signed somewhere else, but maybe Caleb's right. It's just the vibe in Vegas. Have a good time. They definitely not win anything. I will gladly put my co-signature down to that statement. And yeah, he's just another, name with great name value that is just left to wither away on the Vegas Raiders. Chandler Jones, Devontae Adams, some great talent that are just withering away.
There you go.
Damn.
Nigel?
Listen, I'm going to throw this stat at you real quick, and then I'm going to do another hard out, all right? He has 32 career picks, or 26 more than the rest of the quarterbacks combined. This guy's got to put in so much work because the rest of the squad can't do jack. You don't want to do that. What you want to do is you want to go and party. If you're going to Vegas, you'll want to go and party. That's what he's going to do. There's no way he can pick up that much slack. 32 career picks or more, man, than 26. That is a crazy stat. That just means does the Raiders even have a defense? Like, what's happening? Do they have other quarterbacks? What's happening out there, man? This guy's got to put in work this season. So he's got two choices. He can either put in work and lead by example and help raise that squad up, or he can travel the world in 48 hours and maybe play on Sunday if he feels like it. Hard out.
Hey, that was genius. Hey, how long is this contract?
1 year.
It's just 1 year.
Yeah.
Then it's a pit stop. If I'm him, it's a pit stop. You ball out this season. It's like you treat it like Jack Parkman treated the Indians, and they're now the defenders, but you know what I mean. In Major League 2, the team in Cleveland, Jack Parkman played for him. It was one character who he said, I'm just coming through. All he wanted to do was get to the Yankees, which he did, right? Like, that's what's going to happen. He's going to ball out for one season and then look to go to a team that's actually winning, but show I still got it. Because he's going to play with a bunch of people that aren't trying to win. So you going to look, anybody that shows effort when you ain't trying to win stands out. You know what I'm saying? He going to look like a baller. He get 2, 3, 4 picks this season, something like that. A good defender, he can get another deal someplace else. They'll give him a good 2-year contract, or he'll take another year to go play for like a winner or a team that, because a great corner can always be added. Imagine if Dallas added somebody like that with Gilmore, and Diggs. And I don't, me, I hate, I don't like that team. But as the players, I'm not stupid. That's ridiculous. Imagine another nickelback like at that level, like yo. You know what I mean? Like those kinds of additions to teams, like really make them strong. So I think it could be a move like that for him. And it might be a smart move where we're not paying attention to like what's really happening. Gotcha.
So Nigel, you had your heart out for that one. Let me ask you this. What's the best defensive backfield in the NFL?
You know what? Like Wudi's always like, oh man, I'm so glad, Gene, you're thinking about it. You pick me when I want to go first. Well, right now this situation is the complete opposite. This is the one time where I'm like, oh, I know Gene ain't gonna pick me first. You're like, Nigel's like, huh? This I'm gonna be straight up. This is the one, like, and it's crazy because I'm a receiver at heart, and so I should be more privy and know more. But I don't think I have a good answer for this. I think I need a pick me up for my squad here, and then I might be able to roll on somebody else's answer. But I can't. I don't know.
All right. Then you know, Wudi, did you want to go first?
I didn't, which is why your telepathy didn't tell you. But I will go first. I will go first. Because this is I actually think this is the toughest question of the day. There are a lot of good secondaries out there. I actually wrote down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. I wrote down 8 of them.
Are the Jets even one of the 8 for you?
They are. They are.
Okay.
They're number 8.
So yes, you know, I'll actually say all 8 teams. I'll give them all the respect, but then I'll highlight because it's a tie. I still really couldn't pick one. But I said the 49ers, Eagles, Jets, Dolphins, Chargers, Bills, Browns, and Seahawks all got really nice secondaries. But I think what puts it over the top for me is that I wanted, you know, because great corners are great corners. And I think the Jets obviously have one of the best duos in the league. Safety, you know, I like Amos. He kind of had a down year. Like the Packers fans were actually happy to see him go last year. So I'm not really loving safety the way that I'm loving the safety position at the Chargers, right? With Derwin James. Dude is a dog. He's one of the absolute best in the NFL. J.C. Jackson, and I know this name is going to sting. So Abby, Jean, cover your ears. But Asante Samuel Jr., all right, he's there as well. And, you know, that defense – I think and health was a factor because J.C. Jackson didn't play. And when he was on the field, he was not playing to the best of his ability. So we didn't quite see it last year. But I think this year, like if we're projecting, sky's the limit for this defense, especially with that pass rush, Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack. Oh, my God, like that defense can be incredible. But the other one that I want to highlight, it's a tie. It's a tie. I couldn't put one above the other is, again, Abby, Jean, cover your ears, the Buffalo Bills. They have the best safety tandem.
They're nasty.
Hyde, Jordan Poyer. That safety tandem is not touched by any other team in the NFL. And they got Tre'Davious White, who is another one. You know, he's been limited by injury, but if they can get a healthy year, they can get a healthy year out of him. Like this is with and they got Kaiir Elam, right? Kaiir Elam, he's supposed to be the White successor, right? They're like,
right.
Tre'Davious White, he tore his ACL. He's been getting hurt, but you know, so let's get Elam. He's the next shutdown corner. But for this season, they have them both. So they're in this little like, what is the word? Like transition period where before we kick White out and like not extend him ever again because he's been hurt, they have Elam and White at the same time. So that secondary looks very, very dangerous. So Chargers and the Bills. That's my tie.
I'll tell you, you confused me for a second when you said the White successor. I was thinking race, not the player.
Come on, Gene.
I was like, what are you talking about?
Keep it social. It's still light out.
All right, Abby.
Wait, Wudi, repeat all the teams. You had 8 teams. Let me hear. I don't disagree with you. I'm just double checking. But repeat the 8 teams again.
Nervous right now. 49ers, Eagles, Jets, Dolphins, Chargers, Bills, Browns, and Seahawks.
All right. Yeah. No, those are like all teams that like popped to name for me. I don't know. It's hard because I knew I was just going to give a biased answer and you guys already know what that is. It's the logo right there. So I'm just going to stick with that answer. It's a solid answer. Apparently for Wudi, it's not a top one answer. It's a top 5, maybe top 10 minimum. Mid.
Kayla, who do you got?
You know what's interesting? No, I agree with the Chargers and the Bills. The safeties on the Bills are ridiculous. But a team that wasn't mentioned that I think needs to, and I mentioned them earlier. I'm not a fan, and y'all know it. But Dallas, right, with the addition of Gilmore, that's the only team that I would add in there because Diggs and Gilmore as your corners is nasty. You know what I mean? And they still got Micah Hyde that's coming at the QB at different areas where Parsons, who's virtually unblockable, right? But he also guards, runs out and defends. So I'm thinking Dallas should be added to the secondary conversation, right? Not saying that but they're up there. Of course, the Eagles are there. I agree about the 49ers, definitely the Dolphins as well with the addition of Jay. Man, okay. Here's what
they're so good.
But is he the same corner?
No. Jalen Ramsey is not the same Jalen Ramsey.
You see what I'm saying?
Agreed.
Like he lost
a step last year.
I feel like he was getting worked a lot last season.
He was
right?
like Eli Apple at some points.
Right. So, and that's cold. Shout out to Eli. But I get your point. But anyway, I digress. The point is, though, it's like I just feel like they're the Dolphins, but I'm not sold on him anymore being that guy. I think Sauce is better. I like Asante Jr. and you know what I mean? Like I like these guys. So it'll be interesting. But anyway, I would say just add Dallas and Wudi spot on. And the Browns secondary. I like the Browns. I like the Browns. You know what I mean? So they're gonna it's gonna be nasty. And if Deshaun can play like he used to be, that AFC East is going to be very, North. AFC North is going to be very, very interesting this season. For real.
Yeah, I would definitely add the Cowboys. Matter of fact, here it is.
Oh, it made the list.
Definitely add the Cowboys.
Wait, is that pen or pencil?
No, you know what I mean?
I love the Gilmore edition too. I think that defense takes light years steps.
He's good. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it'll be.
Which one?
I know he's had a couple injuries, but
I'm saying Gilmore into the Dallas. Actually, I think that makes them way better than they were last year. I think he solidifies that defense big time. I think
definitely.
And he plays corner differently than the guy across from Diggs. They're two different styles, and I think that's what's going to help them play well together. So, Nige, you have some options to choose from.
Yeah, I agree.
Which one?
Yep.
All right, let's go to the best triplets in the NFL. Abby, who are the best triplets in the NFL right now? Quarterback, running back, receiver. Or you want to put a tight end in there instead? You can.
Nigel, when you never want to be called on, I was
hand it off, baby. I got you.
Go ahead. We're gonna let Nigel go first.
Nigel, I didn't want to put him on the spot 2 times in a row, but Nigel, if you got it, go right ahead, my man.
This one was really exciting. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5 teams. I have two questionable choices. But this was really fun because I did a little bit of a deep dive and went back to 2021 and kind of moved forward. And to see the difference in teams over the last 2 or 3 seasons, to see the pieces that have moved is bananas. It's just wild to look at. So not in any particular order. I have the I'll say teams first and I'll say the trio. I'll say team and then the trio. I have the Bengals. So you got Burrow, Mixon, and Chase. I got the Eagles. So you have Hurts, Swift, and Brown. I have my Steelers, Pickett, fingers crossed, hopefully has a better season this year. So that's a little bit of a caveat. So hopefully he grows. Pickett, Harris, and Pickens. And I hope Pickens does even more things because he was phenomenal last year. I have the shout out to Caleb. I have the Chargers. I have Herbert in there. Eckler, he's still got a little something. Yeah. And now this one, I could go either way with either Allen or Williams. So Keenan Allen or Mike Williams. They did fine. They averaged what I think they ended up with over 800 yards and just under 800 yards respectively, I think, with 6 or 7 TDs each, which was kind of fun. Last but not least, I want to throw the Jags in there, man. I think Lawrence, Etienne Jr. and Kirk, they're just they're just fun to watch, man. And towards the stretch, I know that a lot of math had to be done for them to make it into the playoffs, which they ended up doing. And they also had to win a bunch, and they did. I just thought that was a fun trio, man. I don't know how well they're going to do, if that momentum is going to carry on through this season. But there's something fun about them. And I would have one of those guys, one of those gentlemen on my fantasy team too. So there you go. So Bengals, Eagles, Steelers, Chargers, Jags.
Wudi.
Well, I had 6 people, and 4 of them are the same 4 out of your 5. That
there you go. There you go.
So I love it. I think the Steelers, you're a little bit crazy for putting them up there, but you're a Steelers fan.
Yeah.
So I'll allow the bias. I replaced them with the Browns. I feel like we're gonna keep talking about the Browns a lot. I mean, if Deshaun Watson is anything like Houston's Deshaun Watson, and Nick Chubb is Nick Chubb, then them and Cooper, I mean, it might be a wrap for somebody. And then the other one that I had was I didn't really like this one, but Kenneth Walker is a stud, DK Metcalf is a stud, and Geno, he was all right. If Geno is the same, I put Burrow, Mixon, and Chase. That is my number 1. I think that's the only of these that we're talking about where you can say Burrow, he's top 3, Chase, he's definitely top 5, and then Mixon, we know he's above average. Like I feel like this is the only one, right? All the other ones, there's one guy who's not necessarily on that level, but for that, I think they're all there. And of course, dare I say, health, right? If health holds up, by the end of this year, it is very possible that far and away, the best triplets in the NFL, because they would have somebody who's top 10, inarguably in all those positions, is Aaron Rodgers, Breece Hall.
Thank you.
Gary Wilson. That is very possible.
I gotta go. I gotta get out of here, man.
Hey, they weren't in my 6, but the tools are there. Like the potential is there for Breece, Aaron. What Garrett did with that little boy throwing him the football. All right, the possibilities are endless with that trio, but not enough where I put them in the 6 right now. At the end of the year,
you know what's bananas? I just want to jump in real quick. You know what's bananas about that is that you just saying that trio, there's definitely going to be people, I'm not sure if we all play fantasy football here, but I do. It's like there are people that are going to jump the gun on Rodgers and then other players that are going to get the feed from him. Like those Jets players, those offensive weapons are just out of nowhere going to push people into picking them higher than they I wouldn't say it should be, but would have been a season ago, to your point, Wudi. You know what I mean? I just think it's so crazy. Anyways, continue.
I'm just surprised you guys mentioned a bunch of teams. I'm surprised none of you guys have Darnold, McCaffrey, and Debo.
Are you serious?
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say that. I was gonna say those 3. Definitely them. You know what I mean? Why not? And I think you gotta talk about Pollard, Dak, and Lamb. That's gonna be nice, right? Of course, us. Right, and I'm just saying it because I respect our enemies. We respect our enemies. We look at them. We know who they are. So I respect their abilities. But I think they just weren't mentioned. Of course, us. It's going to be hard to beat Hurts, Swift, and Brown or Smith. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Oh, I said them. Yeah.
I know you did. I know. Yeah. I'm just saying it because that's my team. Like, of course that. You know what I mean? I know you mentioned the Chargers as well. I think that's going to be nasty. Eckler with Allen and or Williams with my boy Herbert. You already know what that is. Like that's disgusting. And you know what's crazy? As much as we were talking about these guys, if the good things were to happen and Jacobs decides to play, Garoppolo, Jacobs, and Adams is nasty on paper.
Mm-hmm. There's a big question on health and contracts.
Hey, you know what I mean? Like that could be nasty. You know what I'm saying? Like so there's that as well. So yeah, there's some good ones. It's Mahomes and whomever he's handed it to, and Kelsey, like we were talking about with the Chiefs. It's like all of that. So there's really That's like those are like the best ones that I would say as of right now.
Abby.
I had 4 teams. Jets instantly came to mind with Breece Hall. God willing, he's all healthy and whatever. But I'm glad that Wudi pointed out the Seahawks because that was the next team I had in line. Glad Nigel pointed out the Jags because I like that little trio over there.
Yeah.
They got something up their sleeve over there.
Let me ask you a question. Who is it going to be the leading receiver? Is it going to be Kirk or is it going to be Ridley?
Kirk.
You think Kirk's going to lead?
I think it's Ridley.
I think it's Ridley too. That's
I
why
think Ridley is about to run away with the lead.
Listen, Kirk had a fantastic year, so that's not saying it can still be Kirk. But I do think.
And then the last one, which was I didn't really like this as much, but I gave it a look. It was with Derek Carr and now the Saints over there.
Yep.
And with Olave and then with Williams over there. There was always one position I didn't like. Like, for example, the Bengals didn't come to mind because Mixon is kind of like
overrated.
he's mid to me. I don't know why. That was just a feeling. I'm not even speaking on stats, but I thought of all these teams, you know what I mean? But the Saints, like I said, were my last team that I can I'm not going to die on the hill for them, but I think they're going to do a lot better this year, especially with Carr over there. Olave I love watching him play. I love watching him and Garrett Wilson play, man. Their highlight reels are off the charts.
They are. I had Burrow, Chase, and Mixon originally too, but same as Abby, I just don't think Mixon is that great. I think he's super overrated.
I don't either.
I think if they had a star, I don't understand why they're not trying to get Dalvin Cook. I think a big time running back on that team sets that team.
Well, that's because they disagree with you.
They obviously do, but I do. But I'll tell you what. I right now my favorite trio is Hurts, Swift, and Brown. I think that is almost an unstoppable trio to me.
And it literally sucks that they also have Devontae Smith.
Yeah,
it's not even just a trio. Oh my god.
So that's mine. Pick just one. Let's go around the room real quick. Just pick one. Nige, one off the top of your head.
Oh, I'm gonna have to go Eagles.
Wudi, one.
I'm going Bengals.
Caleb, one.
Eagles, baby. You already know. You're the best.
Abby, one.
Jags.
There you go.
Nice.
All right. So then let's get on to the next one. Which 2022 playoff team is missing this year's playoffs? Who wants to go first? Let me just throw it up. Who wants?
Abby does. Abby does.
Abby, bring it to us.
It's easy. The easy answer is to say the Bucks, but if I was like, I'm not even going to count them. You know what I mean? The Giants, like I mentioned earlier, I can't say this enough times. I can't stand Danny Jones. He's such mid. Their whole team is mid. He's mid. They rank mid when it comes to offense. They're mid when it comes to defense. Again, the whole team is Saquon Barkley. And who else? I don't know any receivers. I don't know any other running backs that they have. They're just such a mid.
They did just sign Cole Beasley. So, I mean, maybe that's a step up.
I don't know. But the thing is, too, and what you can't forget is that they're obviously in the NFC East. You got the top 2 teams already there, with the Cowboys, the Eagles, but the Commanders are right on their ass. I'm sorry.
And they're going to be good this year.
And they are going to, I think, make a jump this year. They only finished one game, but I think it was one game behind or whatever. So that is a tough division. It's a close division. And I think the Commanders I do think they're going to be a lot better this year. And I can think they can just out of the spot. Now, the other team that came to mind was the Vikings. I'm actually watching that quarterback documentary on Netflix. It focuses on Kirk Cousins, Mahomes, and Mariota. It actually made me like Kirk Cousins a little more, just like the way he approaches games and everything like that. Obviously, he's been in the league so long. But that is another team that came to mind. But with the division that they're in, I just think that makes a difference. But I can see why someone would argue the Vikings if you wanted to throw that out there. But my definite answer is the Giants. Plain and simple.
Caleb?
Yeah, you know what? I think Abby's right about the Giants. Because listen, I'm a homer, right? So I'm thinking about our division. It's getting closer and closer to the season. So now I'm really looking at our realistic layout so we can get back to the Super Bowl. That's all I care about. I don't care. I think I'm looking at the Commanders as the threat that we're not paying attention to. It's always us in Dallas. It's always that, right? So you get primed to only see that. And the Giants, because they're the only team that's won outside of us in these past few years, you know what I mean, in the last decade or so. So it's like the Commanders just get no respect. So I'm watching them, and I think Abby is right when you start looking at the Giants, because I don't trust Daniel Jones out of nobody. They just barely got it cool with Saquon today. I know he's not happy, but he's taking it. So now he's really playing for himself. He's not playing for the Giants. Not saying he would, but you know what I mean? So I just feel like that energy is different when you need your team to come together, when you got somebody that only cares about what they doing because they don't like the organization. So I feel like that might throw them out. It's like psychologically, like, you know, I just feel like that's a really smart choice. And I've been on it. So as an Eagles fan, that's what I'm looking at, because I know we're going to have to play Dallas and the Commanders for real.
What do you guys up there, Nigel? What do you think?
This, like, upon reflection and listening to conversations, obviously Abby is 1,000% correct. The easy one is the Bucs here, because it's just so night and day. They're going to be night and day. And just to Caleb's point earlier, man, isn't it just everybody just take a second and just think about how bananas it was for Brady to go over there and just be like, I'm gonna win a championship here too, and then bounce. I still have a hard time conceptually thinking like, oh my God, they're gonna do it. And every game they keep winning, and they keep winning decisively. Sometimes there's like a lot of hiccups, but you're like, oh my God. And then the playoffs, and you're like, oh my God, are you kidding me? And then they made the Super Bowl. You're like, what is happening? Like that for me. I'm not like a huge Brady fan, but I respect the work. Like, this guy is out of control. But to watch somebody do that with a completely different team and offense is I don't want to say it as much as, but we may not see that caliber of player again ever. Like, that was crazy. But I digress. They're not going to see even a sniff of the playoffs this year. I'm thinking about this. This is a little crazy to me. But two teams, I have the Jaguars and I have the Dolphins. I just feel like because of all the things that the Jags had to endure to get to the playoffs, I don't know. But that whole AFC South with the Titans, Colts, and Texans, I think that's a real shootout. I have no idea who's going to make it, if anybody's going to make it from that division alone, because there's a lot of things that have just happened in that division. So the Jags hopefully can only get better. I don't know where Houston's going to be. We're talking about the playoffs. So is Houston going to have a good enough record? You know, they were 3-13 last year with a tie. What's that about? So, like, who knows if they're going to get past the tie hump and even get one more win? We don't know. So I think the Jags, and then the Dolphins, I don't know, man. Like, I love their energy, but the division they're in now with your Jets there with the comeuppance, this might be a real dogfight, man. And let's not sleep on the Patriots. 8-9, Belichick knows what he's doing. At least he tries to. They could be that team that just makes sure nobody else makes it in their division. You know what I mean? They could be that team that's just the one, that you just can't get past. So I think the Dolphins were lucky last year because they played their hearts out. They did a good job finishing 9-8, but I think it's going to be even more of a grind this year to squeak out a playoff ticket.
Wudi, who do you got?
We're gonna have to echo the sentiment that the Bucs are like. It's obvious. Like, I would bet the farm on the Bucs. You know, not making the playoffs. You know, probably the Saints will take that spot, or the Falcons. I know Gene, you're high on the Falcons. They definitely have a better chance than the Bucs. Other two teams I wrote down. I wrote down the Giants before the Saquon news hit. With the Saquon news hitting, I'm not saying they're definitely going to make the playoffs, but I definitely think they are better positioned to make the playoffs than some of the other teams. I think they actually had one of the best off seasons in the NFL. They had a masterful draft. Every single hole they had. They drafted a corner to replace James Bradbury. They drafted a center because they have two great tackles, but their interior was trash. So they got one of the best centers in the draft. They got a receiver in Deonte Banks, right, to try to finally have a number one receiver. They haven't had one. But even if he isn't that guy, Darren Waller is as reliable as a pass catcher when he's on the field as they come. So I think they did their best to say, okay, we kind of snuck into the playoffs. Now, how do we make sure we get here again? I think they have answered that question to the best of their ability, and they repaid everybody they needed to repay. They extended Dexter Lawrence, and then Saquon, they were having their issue, and they finally just paid him today. So I think the Giants, I don't think they're as much of a shoo-in. But this team that I'm going to bring up might surprise you since nobody else said them. The Baltimore Ravens are in what is probably going to be the most competitive division in all of football. And if Deshaun is Deshaun, then it's going to be uber competitive. Even if Deshaun is not Deshaun, though, we have the Steelers. And the Steelers also, I think the Steelers, just like the Giants, had a very masterful offseason where they saw specific holes that they needed to fill, and they filled them. They got the left tackle, Broderick Jones. They got Allen Robinson. So now their wide receiver core is deep. Okay, Najee, we're expecting the bounce back, right? They made more reinforcements to their offensive line. They got Patrick Peterson, the cornerback. These boys are trying to win. So they are not going to be a hard out. I feel like when you have divisions like that, it's really hard to say one team is going to make it over the other. The Bengals are the Bengals, so we do that, but there's not going to be two repeats, I don't think. I feel like you got to choose one or the other. So I chose the Bengals. So the Ravens are probably going to be on the outside looking in. And whether it's the Browns that elevate or Kenny Pickett, is able to make the most of this amazing roster. I mean, TJ Watt, they lost TJ Watt. If he's healthy, what's going to happen with that division? So I think the Ravens should be very, very nervous. They just lost Marcus Peters, right? They're the only team in their division that didn't appropriately reload. They got Odell, but we don't even know what that means. So,
good point. I do like the addition of Zay Flowers, though.
That's what I was gonna say. I was like, I like that.
Yeah,
he's good.
That's gonna be interesting. I mean, that's a good choice. I mean, I see it as a possibility. I just think certain players make up for that. You know what I mean? Like Lamar Jackson.
I literally still don't know who Lamar is. Like, in all seriousness,
I know what you
know.
mean. And you know what's crazy? I know what you mean when you say that. It's not a dig. I know exactly. Yeah. But it's like one of those X factors where it just works. Barring injury, of course, or anything. But I just think, but that's a good choice. I see that. We can go to the next topic, Gene, because I know you're probably like, all right, next time.
Well, I was going to say is I wasn't going to make this a topic, but Nigel just wanted to talk about these new jet unis. Nigel,
listen,
all these new jet unis.
I saw them,
yeah. Listen, this is, and I was on set last week, and I informed a colleague of mine. I was like, yo, I sent a friend of mine. I was like, a new team got new uniforms. Like, we know the creamsicle's coming out. We know a bunch of things are happening. And she was like, oh, yeah, the Colts have a new uniform coming out. And I was like, yeah, who'd you hear that from? She's like, oh, I heard it from a mutual friend of ours. It's like, that's because I just sent him that thing. Because, I know who your teams are, and I will send you info about what swag they're going to be popping off with for the season, because I'm that guy. So now that is the entryway into the new segment, the mini segment, the segment within a segment called Nigel's Fitteds. A working title. And I want to talk about the uniform very quickly of certain teams. Today's feature is going to be the Jets, because the Jets just came in aggressively with one of the best uniforms that have dropped in the NFL this season, this preseason so far. And their classic, it's called the Legacy White, which is gorgeous. And that is going to be the first uniform we're going to see Rodgers wearing. They're wearing it in week 1 and week 4 against the Chiefs. So it's going to be lights out for the Jets coming in hot with this Legacy White. The white is clean, but the green, you guys have just figured out the right green to use. I'm also a graphic designer at heart. So the Pantone game for the Jets is sick. And it's so they're going to be wearing these things, and they're based off the 79 to 89 team that wore the jersey with the 2 stripes and the 1 stripe on the helmet. Absolutely gorgeous. And the era apparently is known as the Sack Exchange. So this is a big thing. It's a big history-driven thing for the Jets to wear this. And of course, more history has been driven with the signing of Aaron Rodgers. So he is the front man in one of the photos that have dropped. And even players from the Jets that didn't know these unis were coming, apparently, they, thank you very much, they are even like, whoa, we wearing this? So it's like this is a hot time for the Jets, man. Like that's such a clean look. They're going to look amazing on the field, and hopefully it transcends into their play. But once again, not just fitteds. Here it is in the sports universe. The Jets coming with the legacy white. I'm excited for y'all. I'm excited.
What do you guys think? Let me ask the Jet fans. What do they think of these new unis?
Nigel, I didn't know what you were gonna say. I thought this was gonna go the complete opposite. And now it's like, it's also
I'm bored
because Joe Klecko's gonna be inducted in the Hall of Fame. So I'm a huge fan of that old Jets logo, and especially on the side of the helmet. Like, I don't think I'm gonna go up and like get a jersey because I posted on it about Instagram on my Instagram yesterday. My thoughts on it. They look clean. The fact that we're wearing it week 1, I was like,
wow,
damn,
weird, right?
Hot, yeah. Week 1 and week 4, and then I yesterday too. I guess we're only wearing the stealth black jerseys one time for the Black Friday game, so that'll be interesting because I think we wore them a couple of times last season.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you what. Let me just real quick add to that. Mm-hmm. If they do, because I know that the Jets had inquired about getting that game every year being their game, the same way the Cowboys have Thanksgiving, Lions have Thanksgiving. That should be the only time they wear them. Then, if they get that Black Friday game, and that's their special, that should be their special uniform. If that comes out to be the Jet day.
Why is Sam Darnold there? Why is Jamal Williams on the screen or Jamal Adams?
Because Sam Darnold's about to go to the Pro Bowl. Blame Wudi.
But yeah, I'm a fan of the unis. They look fly. And what I think I'm going to do is I'll probably get a white ball cap with the old logo on it. That's kind of what I was going to do. I actually need to, Woody's got a beanie on. My black beanie is kind of deteriorating. So I'm going to need to come out with a new little beanie too. So
if you need any hat advice, the man right above you is the guy to ask. He's the guy.
I was just waiting for it because I got you, man. I got like 3 sites that you can hit up real quick right now. Trust.
There you go. That's the man to ask. Wudi, what's your take on the new unis?
Obviously, Joe Klecko, like I love it. I love the ode. I think that everybody loves the logo, right? Like that's like our favorite Jet logo. So it's nice to see it. I do not love the times that they're choosing to wear it because I feel like we should be celebrating, but to go 0-2 in the 2 games that we're scheduled to.
I never want to see these jerseys again. If we
is that what you're predicting?
That is what I'm predicting.
I'm predicting
Jesus,
1-1.
Man,
you don't think they're going to win? They're not going to win game 1?
We need a therapy session.
We can have one, but yeah, I think we're about to go 0-2 in these 2 games.
Caleb, we need to step out the room again. We need to. I have to talk to you over by the wire.
That's hilarious.
Yo, if they go 0-2 in these uniforms, I never want to see them again. Don't even bring them back.
Well, that's what sucks. Why didn't they do it like a home? Like they play the Texans at home. Why not wear them there and lay the smack down? But no, we're gonna, I don't like that. I don't like that. If I could talk to their marketing department, that's definitely what I would have told them. Let's play the Texans at home with those jerseys. I think they wanted them on national.
They wanted them on a national game is probably.
Yeah, I was like, it ain't as exciting.
Well, it'll be fun. It'll be fun until the clock runs out.
Until it's not fun.
Yeah.
Caleb, what's your take on these jerseys?
I'm not impressed. They're like okay. It's like almost what I expected. You know what I mean? It's like they had an opportunity to do something dope, do something that's just like change it. Like, why not? I get it. But it's what I kind of expected. And because we kind of share the same colors, I'm like, it didn't, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, I thought they was going to do something. I was like, see, the Eagles need to do, you know what I mean? Because we could add gray with ours. But why couldn't the Jets? Like, think about it. Like, what if the Jets chose a different color frame and how they did it? Like, that could have been
I love where you go with this because I said when they were going to get the uniforms that they have now, I thought I saw like a spoiler, and it turned out not to be a real jersey, but one of the fake ones that came out when they said they were doing the jerseys was like a gunmetal gray kind of jersey. And I was like, that's perfect. It's like this. It's the color of a Jet.
That's what I mean. Like, why not do something different? Like,
and they went with green again. I was like, oh, that's. I'm not a big fan of the new uniforms. Not the new. That's a throwback.
It's cool, but it's not like where I'm like, like that's fire.
I'm not a green. I don't like the green and white. I wish they would have changed up the colors.
Yeah, I'm. That's what I was kind of.
I mean, I'm a Jet fan. I love my Jets, but if they were gonna go with something where there was gonna be more like a battleship gray or like a gunmetal gray,
I think teams
in the uniform
across the NFL should start doing that, like with their jerseys and stuff, because like certain things, like you know how they'll do it for breast cancer, they'll have the pink jerseys, right, that you can buy now for basically every team. Like they should start doing new jersey with different color schemes, different ways that they do it, like just to spice it up to get the merch, because it sells, but it could really go again, where it could become a thing in the mainstream again. You know how
why?
Like 20 years ago.
Like, but you know why they don't. You know why the NFL doesn't, right?
Not enough games.
Because not for games, but because the NFL has one of the richest and like deepest histories, and the fan base is so old school that they tradition really is on top of everything else. So Nike, what's super smart about them is that they know not to stray too far away from that. You can do things like that in like baseball or like hockey. They don't really in hockey that much, because the hockey community is like, really just a bunch of mid-white dudes that just like, live in the country, so it's fine. You know what I mean? Like it's not they're not too precious about what the jersey is, because they'll buy whatever. But the market's not huge anyway. The wardrobe market's not huge.
Right.
But then when you have basketball, that's the one that's the craziest, Caleb. We've seen like we know that's those,
my point.
Right? But football can't do that because it's not the same. That market isn't quite the same. What the wildest thing that football has done is they've introverted things like, I know Atlanta had a red jersey, old school. I'm trying to think of teams like that had introverted their color schemes, and they were like, whoa, we're doing the color that you traditionally wouldn't see us wearing. Like Green Bay wears a yellow jersey instead, like things like that.
But like remember how Seattle changed their whole look? They added the lime green, right? That just made their stuff pop. Like when they first did that as the Legion of Boom, it was like, they look dope. You know what I mean? Because they took a color that wasn't traditional Seattle Seahawks. That was just silver and blue and white. You know what I mean? But that lime green thing they brought in, and it just made everything pop. So but that's what I mean. And I get it though, Nigel, because you're right. Like football's way more traditional. But it's like, I don't know. I'm just like you could do something dope. Like, because the rules have changed in the world. Have you guys not noticed how everything is different now? You know what I mean? It's like you can, if you want to try anything new, now is the time to do it, because everything is on the table. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like for real, I would just try it. Like, who knows? But Nigel's 1,000% right as far as the tradition goes.
All right, so let's talk a little about some season previews, some season outlooks. Let's start with the Indianapolis Colts. What do we expect from the Indianapolis Colts this year, James Wudi?
Start with the tough ones. The Colts.
I thought I felt the wavelengths.
Not this time, but no. The Colts, they're all right. As an organization, they make me laugh, right? Because they're just always doing things too late. They had Andrew Luck. They were set. Andrew Luck, best prospect in years. And he got beat up way too often. He had to quit. He retired very, very early. He retired. Why? Because he was getting hit more than any other quarterback in the league. So what did they do after Andrew Luck retired? Built the best offensive line in football. Best offensive line. Luck's not there anymore. So now you're protecting Phillip Rivers. You're protecting all these random people. Not that good. So what do they do then? They build a defense. One of the best defenses in the league. You don't have an offense. They're not doing anything. So now, they're just resetting the whole thing, right? They got a new coach, right? They got Shane from the Eagles, actually, the OC from the Eagles. They got a new quarterback, and everything that they have, right? Like that defense, the pieces are still there, or not all of the pieces, but like the nucleus is still there. Right, the offense, they still have an offense, right? Quentin Nelson still has a pulse; he's still breathing, but it's not the same offense. It's not the same defense. There's a lot that they're gonna have to rebuild. So I'm not really high in them right now, but the potential is very high because Anthony Richardson physically can do everything we want a quarterback to do. But now, can he put it together? Every single time there's a prospect like Anthony Richardson, I always say, they could be like Cam Newton, right, who became an MVP and put it all together, or they can be Blake Bortles, who is the same size, was very fast, but does not play in the NFL right now. Under 30, right? So I feel like that's where Anthony Richardson is at. He can be Cam or Josh Allen, or he can be Blake Bortles or any of the other prototypical guys, Mitch Trubisky, who are that size, could run but can't put it all together. Now, having Shane there, right, from the Eagles is great because if they were to run a similar playbook as they do for Hurts with this read option, with Anthony Richardson and Jonathan Taylor, who doesn't get talked about enough because he was hurt all last year,
right?
Then look out behind that offensive line. Like, look out. The potential is there, but I just don't think we're going to see anything of that nature this year. Like, everybody's still trying to figure out life. So they'll probably get like 6 wins.
And just the playoffs again. But 6 wins is a step up.
It is. They only had 4 last year.
4 last year, so.
Yeah, so 6.
Nigel, what do you think? What do you got with the Indianapolis Colts?
Yeah, same sentiments, man. I mean, Anthony Richardson's got a lot. Though the challenge is not to put a lot on this plate, right? Like this is a big ask from this cat. And also, it looks like Gardner Minshew, he might actually be the starter. I mean, at least he's number 1 on the roster right now. So, I mean, I think I could be wrong. So who knows how that's going to shake out. Again, Wudi said a lot of the stuff with, Shane being the head coach there now. But, I mean, listen, it's tough, man. That's really all you can say about them is like, well, let's just see how this all plays out. Let's just see, they're putting their cards on the table. I mean, last year they finished 4-12-1. Okay, and so they were 2-6 and 2-6-1. Like that, those records suck. Like home and away, like that's a tough life at home and going on the road. And having that one tie on the road, that's demoralizing in football. So I mean, it's a tough road for the Colts. Hopefully they can only go up, but if anything, we're going to see them go through growing pains, and it's going to be a season to watch just to see how it all happens, either for the better or for the worse. Could be a train wreck. I don't know, man.
How many wins do you think this year?
I think they'll probably be the same, if not one, maybe 5. I want to give them 5, maybe.
Abby?
First, Nigel, the Colts released their uniforms, right?
Yeah, they did. So even get me started on the uniforms. Yes.
I don't like them.
No, they're horrible. I'll tell you very, very quickly, Abby, thanks for that segue. Very quickly, they came out with a new blue uniform, and their helmets are black with a blue stripe in the middle. This is tough. They call it Indy Knights, I believe, is the title of this uniform. But the key thing here is the Colts are saying, first ever this and first ever that. One of the first evers is a heathered material. So they have a heathered pattern. So almost like Wudi, like the gray on Wudi's beanie there, the bottom half of it, that's kind of a heathered pattern that's a little bit more aggressive than heathered. But it's that idea. So it's a blue on blue tone in it. And it looks bad. It looks very bad. So if that's how Abby's starting, perfect. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
It looks like a sweatshirt.
Yeah, man. So if this is how Abby is starting her prediction with the Colts, we have nothing really happy to look forward to. This is going to be a bad review.
And Indy Nights, I mean, nighttime is over by like 9 o'clock in Indianapolis. What are we talking about Indy Nights? What goes on in Indianapolis, right? Nothing happens in Indy.
Yeah.
So go ahead,
I don't
Abby.
mind.
Yeah. I'm not expecting
You get have fun anywhere, though.
I'm not expecting much from the Colts. I expect them to pretty much have the same record. Maybe one more win. But they have the fourth easiest schedule. And like I said, I think they're just going to be the same. I think the team that has the more potential in that division is going to be the Texans. So I would predict right now that the Colts finish last. And like I said, playing in those uniforms, ugh. Like even BYU's uniforms are better.
Shout out to BYU. Yeah, absolutely.
Hey,
Caleb,
there it is. Remember how the Oregon Ducks used to look? Their football jerseys, their uniforms were fire back in the day.
And this is the thing. That's why Seattle jumped on board, because it's like one and the same, right? The same hood. So that's why I wasn't going to bring it up, but now you mentioned it. That's why the Seahawks had that liberty. They had that runway to do that, because it's all in the same hood. So they went nuts because the reception for Oregon was so fantastic. At one point, Oregon had like 4 helmets and like 6 jerseys and like 7 pants. The color they could wear a different color combination for every game. It was bananas. They've only recently started to slow down. It's crazy.
And they all looked fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're all ridiculous. Yeah, they're all out of control.
That shit was fire. Oregon, best college uniforms in the history of the game. All day long. Nobody beat Oregon. Sorry, we digress.
There you go. They
Yes, you're on it.
And they're missing the gray one. Remember?
Yeah, that's right. The silver one. Yeah.
The gray one was the fire one. Oh man, yeah.
So what do you say about the Indianapolis Colts, Caleb?
All right. I agree. Okay, here's the deal, though. It's like, I agree with Wudi, what he's saying about Richardson, right? Yeah, but like, it's just hard because his win-loss ratio is so like he could either be great or not. Like, yeah, but I just feel like he has so much pressure on him this season. Like they want to win now. Football is like a now thing. Or if it's not this season, it's next season, right? Like it's always within 2 years. Anything more than that, after 2 years, whatever it is how they're going to view you, right? So I think Richardson has to perform now. And that's why I'm nervous for him, because I don't think he's going to get the time, right? I think they're going to be like, now, we want to see it now. You know what I mean? And it's gonna, man. I don't know, but I'm excited to see it. I'm hoping good for him. I think they should get more wins this season. I'm hoping for it, but if he doesn't do it this season, he only got next season, and then after that, it's gonna start looking real rough.
How many wins do you think?
Oh, at least 5 to 6.
Okay. That's
I mean, okay. You know what? 7. I'm gonna say 7.
Okay.
Here's why. 1, there's more games, right? And 2, the Texans are rebuilding. You know what I mean? So like they might be able to catch them on their come up. So they might be able to get some wins there. They play them at least twice, right? Mm-hmm. Then you got the Jags. Well, those are losses, I think. But you never know, because interdivisional play, you know what I mean? Like whatever. I'm serious. So they could eke out, I don't think no more than 7 wins, but definitely more than 4, so I'll give them that. If not, I think it's gonna be really bad for Richardson that next season. So
if I give you over 5.5, what do you say?
Yes, over.
Okay,
I'll take over.
All right.
I'm also taking that over. I had 6.
I thought their line was 6.5.
I'm just throwing that. No,
but actually it's 6.5.
Okay, I would probably take the under.
Then I would say 7. I would say over 6.5. I would say they can get. I would say 7 wins this season.
So I'm with Wudi. I think 6, so I'd probably take the under on that one.
No.
Yeah. Under for sure. I stopped listening once Caleb was like, 7 wins. Here's why. I stopped listening.
All right. LA Rams. Caleb, LA Rams, what's the outlook this year for them?
Nothing.
What
are you talking about? They're not. Listen, it's going to be them and the Cardinals fighting for the last place. Like, that's what do you
in the division or the league?
I think Seattle beats them this year, both times. I think a sweep on Seattle. Absolutely. a sweep with that other team. They don't even need to be named right now. You know who I'm talking about. Those madmen in Frisco. It's a wrap. They're sweeping them, right? You know what I mean? Like, and I think they'll shoot it out with the Cardinals, and they'll get garbage wins. They'll get the wins, like they'll beat the Ravens when Lamar's not playing because he's for rest. They'll be, you know what I mean? Like it's things like that, but no more. Like, I'm not expecting the Rams to do anything. There's way more attention and pressure on the Chargers, in my opinion. The only LA team that we're really like that should be talked about like that is them. Because I get the Rams, Cooper Kupp is back. I get we still got Stafford and all that, but I think there's been a lot of wear and tear on the defense.
Yeah.
I don't know if everybody is in sync. You know, it's offensively, yes, on paper, but we gotta see. And Aaron Donald, of course, is a great of all time. But still, man, I don't know. I'm not expecting the Rams to do too much this season. That's just my opinion. How many? And last year, how many did they have?
5.
5 and 12.
I say around the same. They might pick up a game or lose one.
I think they lose. I think I got them at 4. Wudi, what do you got?
Damn. Well, I feel like I spent this entire offseason being like, damn, why does everyone keep, shitting on the Rams? Like, they're a good team. They got hurt. So in preparation for this, I looked at them and I was like, damn, they lost Von Miller, Odell, Jalen Ramsey, Leonard Floyd, Bobby Wagner, all in 1 year.
Yeah.
So it definitely sucks being them. But you look on the offensive side on the ball.
Yeah.
And Stafford's back. Cooper Kupp's there. Van Jefferson is a very underrated receiver. Higbee, the gang's all there pretty much on that side. And McVay is an offensive mastermind. In terms of offensive production, there's not a lot of coaches we can name. I can probably count them on one hand how many coaches, are in that realm of McVay type offense. So from that alone, and then Aaron Donald just being Aaron Donald, I actually think they'll be better than 5 and 12. Like 5 and 12 was the product of them losing Stafford for pretty much the season, Kupp for pretty much the season, and all those names that I just named either being in or out or just completely out like Odell was. So I really think this season, especially with like McVay, right? They keep talking about him like retiring to, join Fox or one of those networks as an analyst. And, they talk about Aaron Donald and Stafford, all the stuff he's put his body through, how many years does he have left? I really think that this is a decision, like the decision to play a season in the NFL or coach a season in the NFL is not one that they take lightly. I don't think they're here to just mess around or just compete for the first overall pick. So I think if they all made the decision to play again, which Stafford, Aaron Donald, and McVay all did, and, they play a healthy season, we're looking more at like 8 wins.
Okay.
Wow.
Here's what I will say. I think, and this may not be popular and people could disagree, I think Matthew Stafford is a little overrated. I'm just being honest. In my opinion. I know he's good. Here's what I think. I think the NFL has caught up. Mm-hmm. I think the game has changed. Like in the time, like I'm in the season. Like I'm telling you, I just think I think Matthew Stafford is their weakest link on the offense. And I know he gets covered. Wow. Okay.
Damn. Wait, do you guys think that Kirk Cousins is better than Matthew Stafford?
No.
Today? No, if I had to pick one of those guys to play a game for me today, I would take Cousins.
That's crazy to me. I think
Stafford is old. I think he's banged up. I think I just don't think he is what he was a few years ago. Unfortunately, he didn't get to play his prime in LA. He had to play it in Detroit.
That's right.
I think we'd look back at his career a lot differently if he played on more winning teams. But unfortunately, he finally got to one when he's kind of old and banged up. I don't expect him to play a full season this year.
He's 35. Like
that's what I'm saying. I don't expect to play a full season this year. Do you?
Maybe not. But see, that's the thing, right? Like when we talk about like, playing through injuries, that was his MO in Detroit. I guess he wasted all that Iron Man stuff.
He did
back in Detroit because now he actually has the longest streak of most consecutive games started. As a quarterback in the NFL. So he might not play every game, but when he's there, like he does like the sidearm stuff that Mahomes, like that quarterback documentary that Abby was talking about on Netflix, like Mahomes actually specifically says like, he watches Stafford for the arm angle throws that he does, the no look stuff that he did in the Super Bowl to clinch that Super Bowl win. Like he is very talented. He obviously has, one of the strongest arms in the league. So I feel like if he plays, that's enough. But will he play? Like I definitely will co-sign the old broken down, but I don't know. I feel like there's still more in the tank. Like I feel like he would know. Like he would be like, I don't have anything left and not play.
Sometimes they don't know though. I'll tell you what. I agree with Caleb. I got them at 4 wins because I also think that defense is going to be one of the worst in the league. I think that defense, even with Aaron Donald there, I think that defense is going to be horrendous this year. They could score 40 points. They're going to give it 45. That's how I kind of look at their defense this year. Nigel, what do you think?
I'm going to keep it short because I agree with all y'all. Listen, I'll give you one stat, one record. They were 1-7 on the road. Winners win on the road. You can't go 1-7 in this league, man. You can't if you're going to do any damage. That's brutal. That's just like you guys getting off the bus, showing up like, hey, we're here, kids. And then it's like, well, what do you guys want to do now? We want to play a football game. That's what we want to do. We don't want to just hang out and show you our cool jerseys and then get back on the bus and go home. Nah, man, not happening. They can't go 1-7 on the road. You cannot have a record like that. So I'm out on the Rams. I hope they do better. 6 wins max.
Abby?
I think they'll do a little better. I think last in the division is definitely going to be the Cardinals. So it's kind of just up to the Rams as to how well they finish. But I know we got one more team to talk about in perfect transition because the Broncos were 1-8 on the road. So, and I know that's the last team we got to talk about. So, but yeah, the Rams, I think it was, they were over on, I think 7.5 was the line. They'll probably have less than that. I give them 5 wins.
All right. Well, then let's start with you with the Broncos. What's your take on the Broncos this year?
It's going to depend on how Russell Wilson wants to play. Do you want to show up this year?
Do we expect him to?
The potential for the Broncos is going to depend on him because it can be up here or it's going to be down here. So, and I don't know if you heard, because we talked about it last week, there's been a little rumors with Sutton being traded to the Patriots. I've seen those kind of lingering around, but that
would be a stupid move.
Yeah.
But I mean, the Broncos, they're in, they got the Chiefs, Chargers, Raiders. Obviously, we talked about the Raiders, not much there, but the other 2 teams, obviously very competitive. But, they just had the same problem with the Jets last year, the quarterback play. You know what I mean? Their defense seems to be solid, and the defense can't be on the field the entire game. So I think their line was 8.5, which I think is a little too high. So 7 wins.
All right.
We'll say 7.
Caleb?
I agree. Like, I think they'll be a little better, but like I said, the Rams, not this season. I think it's going to be definitely under the 5. Maybe
no, it's like Denver.
Oh, Denver. Oh, Denver's definitely not 7.
Like worse, like way worse than 7? 5.
Do you think
Wilson
has a bounce back?
I think Russell's done, and I think these other teams like the Chiefs, they're gonna be back. Chargers are gonna be good. The Raiders are gonna play them good. I don't know. I just don't see. They got the team. I just don't believe in Russell. I think Garoppolo is better than Russell Wilson.
Wow. Well,
I'm not with you there. You lost me.
What?
That's a hot take. You know what is Wilson? I feel like he's still young enough.
Compare the numbers. Compare their careers. I bet you Garoppolo's numbers are better. How much you want to bet?
From last year? No, from last year. I can definitely see that. Yeah, but
but he's got to stay healthy too, though.
No.
Yeah, I know.
I gotta come to bat. Let me get my orange and blue on real quick because Sean Payton is the new sheriff in town. And
I know it, but he can't play.
Yeah, he can't. That's actually very true. But what did he do to Drew Brees? What did he do with Drew Brees? Right?
Are you comparing Russell Wilson to Drew Brees?
Whoa.
What?
The Chargers thought they had a dud in Drew Brees.
Right.
The short, he's accurate, but he's short, undersized quarterback. And Sean Payton had that boy playing to the Hall of Fame.
You're right.
Russell Wilson, undersized QB. He's accurate.
I get it.
And Nathaniel Hackett couldn't hack it as a head coach, ruined the boy's career. Okay, I'm not, and I see Abby and Gene. They're starting to get their pitchforks out. I'm not saying Hackett is bad. I'm glad he's the Jets' offensive coordinator. It's cool. But last year, that entire team had no idea what they were doing. They couldn't manage late game situations. Right? They couldn't do a thing. But their defense was good. If they scored 18 points, they would have had a winning record. 18 points. That's how good their defense was. They traded Bradley Chubb, which I didn't like. But they drafted my favorite linebacker in the draft. I wish the Jets drafted him, actually, but we didn't actually even address the linebacker position at all this offseason. Drew Sanders, right? That he went to the Broncos. Vance Joseph is a tremendous defensive coordinator. That defense, we know what to expect. What happened on the offensive side, right? Other than Hackett not knowing what he was doing and Russell missing wide open guys, Javonte Williams tore his ACL. Javonte Williams was looking like one of the absolute best young running backs in the NFL before his injury. All right. He was the belle of the ball. Now he's coming back. Jerry Jeudy. If Cortland Sutton's not there, they still got Jerry Jeudy and Tim Patrick. They drafted Marvin Mims, but they should still keep Cortland Sutton because now there are so many weapons for Peyton and Russell to work with. Now, of course, all of this will be all for naught if Russell truly is just like a bum, like, if he's a bum, but I just don't see it. Like, how are you Pro Bowl, all pro caliber for years and like just drop off to that degree, like with no injury? Like it simply does not make sense to me. I believe that Bronco country is going to ride. I would smash the over. It is very possible they win 10 games this year.
Yeah, of course.
Wow. You think over 10 games?
That's crazy.
That's a tough division to win 10 games in.
Well, they're going to smack the Raiders. The Raiders might go 0-6 in their division. Like
absolutely, that's possible. Yeah. More than likely.
Smack. Do the stat like Nigel's with the stats, like the stat of this team having a winning record, if they just scored 18 points, do you know how easy that is in today's NFL to just score 18 points? Like, they have a very good defense.
Apparently not.
Well, yeah, last year, but does lightning strike twice? I don't think it does in the same spot. I don't think it does. All right, so Sean Payton is the lightning repellent. I think they are going to have a much better season than what they showed last year.
Nigel?
Very quickly, I just think this is going to be a fun experiment, man. I think this will be fun to watch. It's like what's going on with your Jets. It'll be fun to watch, Peyton and Wilson to just do the damn thing in Bronco country, man. I don't know. I don't expect a lot from them. Every time I did, it was a hot mess or a dumpster fire. So I'm like, let's just see if they happen to be playing, I don't know, a team that I'm more so interested in. I'll watch a game, at least the first quarter, and then I'll play PlayStation. But we'll see.
What do you think they end up wins-wise?
I think just adding Peyton alone is going to give you 2 more wins. So I'm going to say like 7, 8. I'm going to take the under. I don't think they'll get 10. I don't think they get 10. That's a little I understand where your heart is at, Wudi. I understand you're a very, very beautiful and warm man wearing a toque right now in the middle of summer. But I don't think they're gonna get 10.
I gotta go with. I see them getting 8 wins. That's my
Getting how many?
The line was at what, 7.5? Is that what?
I think it was 8.5.
I thought it was 8.5. So I have going under because I haven't made 8.
I'll go under.
Definitely under.
I'm going over. I'm going over.
All right. Well, guys, that's gonna do it for today, man. Great show. Great job today, guys. Let's go around the horn and do our last words of the day. Abby, you first.
Nigel, when does the women's soccer play?
Canada plays tomorrow morning, I believe. I could be wrong. Could be late night game.
Okay, well, shout out to the U.S. women's soccer team. All the support from all the way over here.
What a beautiful setup you just gave me. That's hilarious. Nice.
Nigel, last words.
Listen, this has been another pleasure. It's been a lot of fun. You know what? It's a beautiful day. I got some stuff to do, but I'm gonna go and buy a hat today.
There you go, as always. Wudi, last words of the day.
It is my grandfather's 91st birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday!
Whoa, hey.
Bless.
91-year-old man. I called him. He did not answer, but he actually called me during this show. So I'm gonna call him immediately after this. And he is just a living reminder to just cherish what you got. He is widowed, but still just doing his thing, enjoying life and all that. So just cherish what you got each and every day.
Caleb?
Yeah. So, hey, just real quick, you guys, I see this stat about DeAndre Hopkins. Since entering the NFL, he is ranked first in receptions, 853, second in receiving yards, 11,298, and fourth in touchdowns, 71 in his entire career ranking in the NFL. And you get him for $15 million. I digress. Spread love is the Brooklyn way. We out.
Guys, go Sam Darnold. And remember, guys, have a great today, a better tomorrow, and we will see you Thursday.
That's the pop-off for today, folks. Thank you to all of our... That's the pop-off for today, folks. Thank you to all of our listeners, as well as our producers, Patty Puddles and Fareed Kameo. And make sure you tune in tomorrow to hear what these hooligans will pop off about next.